You don't. It's Danielle, aka Danny Lee, aka Danny, aka D, whatever you want to call me amongst those things. So, before I show you my body composition and my 36-hour fast, I want to give you guys a story time. Story time. Okay, picture this, Rochester, 2021. Your daughter awakes in the middle of the night, right? She is just peeing everywhere. And you're like, what? Now, at the time, she's 3, almost 4. So I go, okay, you don't pee on yourself. That's kind of like a setback. But I'm like, okay. As the day go on, she feels sick. And as she eats, she throws up. But when she's throwing up, it's not just any ordinary throw up, right? It's like a brownish, kind of reddish. Could be almost blood. So you say, okay, maybe it's just a stomach virus or something like that or whatever. So she goes on to ask for water, like plenty of water. She's just so thirsty and she's so tired. So she's taking nap after nap. But every time she takes a nap, she pees on herself. So I said, okay, okay. Like I said, maybe it's a stomach virus, You like maybe it's a stomach virus. So as time go on, maybe in another day, the same thing is going on. The throwing up, the peeing at naps, the peeing at bedtime, the extreme thirst. So you decide, let me take my baby to the emergency room. So you get to the emergency room. Now, lo and behold, her pediatrician is the one that's seeing the kids at the hospital. So I'm like, okay, good. I know he's going to get to the bottom of this. So after doing all the tests and looking at her, he says, oh, it's okay. She has a stomach virus. Sends her home with apple juice and popsicles. So you get home and, of course, your baby is still tired and, just dark rings around her eyes, just looking very sick and very frail, can't really walk that well. So your daughter decides she wants to go upstairs and get a toy. And when she gets up there, she calls you, mom, can you please come get me? You go up there, you get your baby, bring her downstairs. So of course she's tired. She wants some water. You give her some water and then she lays down. She lays down for a nap. So she lays down for a nap and then once again, she pees on herself. So she wakes up and she says, Mommy, I wet myself. And then she says, Mommy, I'm thirsty. So then you say, okay, well, it's some water on the TV stand. Now, on a TV stand is like a little jug of grease and it's a bottle of water. Your daughter gets up and she grabs the jug of grease and tries to drink it. At this point, you're like, oh my God, my baby cannot see. Something is wrong. She cannot see. So you rush her back to the emergency room. This is like 2 or 3 hours later. You rush her back to the emergency room. And it just so happens that a nurse is there and she says, I want to test her for diabetes. Now, mind you, at the time, she's 3 years old. So, excuse me. So she said, I want to test her for diabetes. So she tests her for diabetes. Guess what? The reading comes back high. So they take her into the room. They admit her immediately and take her to the room. They try to draw blood from her, but the blood is so thick inside of her veins, all it does is pull the syringe back in. So they're trying to warm her up and do whatever it takes so they can get a blood sample. Finally, they get a blood sample and the doctor comes in and says, I'm 98% is going off. They say, I'm 98% sure this is DKA. This is the onset of diabetes. 3 years old. A type 1 diabetic at 3 years old. So I just remember just crying, like, what? How can a 3-year-old, a type 1 diabetic at 3 years old? So they sent her to a local hospital. I don't know if you guys know about Strong Memorial Hospital here in Rochester, New York. They sent her there. Now, by the time she gets admitted, like she can't really see, she can't walk. They have to put her in a diaper. They put her in like this crib that had a top on it for older kids, like toddlers and things like that or whatever, because she couldn't sit up at this time. Like if she sat up, she would fall back. And I remember just walking up to her crib and saying, you know, Mama, do you, you know, can you see me? And I'm to her right and she's looking straight saying, yes, I can see you. And I cried for like 4 days. And I just cried. I just remember crying because thinking about her future. Like, you know, like you see all these type 1 diabetics and they have all these things going on with them, you know, they kidney failure. And I remember talking to the doctor and I just was like expressing my concerns through the tears. And they're like, listen, those complications come from people that have uncontrolled diabetes, you know? So, yeah, so we stayed in the hospital for about 7 days. And in those 7 days, it was just test after test. And, you know, I had to take my test too, you know, just learning how to take care of her and things like that. And I don't remember the exact explanation of the DKA, but I would know that it happens because there's a really big imbalance in her electrolytes. And I remember asking, like, why you just can't give her the insulin and bring her back down? And it's not that simple. So it was days of giving her insulin, then giving her sugar, then giving her insulin, and then giving her sugar, trying to close the gap. Now, I don't remember what kind of gap was supposed to be closed. You know, those experience with, you know, being diabetic or know people that has gone through the DKA, they understand. But yeah, so anyways, she's better. She has a Dexcom on. She has a pump, but that, well, she really doesn't like too much because you have to change it every 3 days and it is a thick wire going in there or whatever. But yeah, imagine that. A type 1 diabetic that's 3, you know? So anyways, that's my story time. And I just want to introduce my little baby. Come here, baby. So this is my little baby. Show me your Dexcom, Mama. So this right here, I hope you can see it. This is a G6. Now they have newer versions. They have a G7 and the collaboration is maybe like 30 minutes. This is like 2 hours, but I prefer this one right here over anything. So she's gonna show you a few of her little gadgets to maintain her diabetes. So we have this right here. This is the what? The long acting?
Mm-hmm. Long acting, and this, I take it every time I eat.
So this is the one she takes every time she eats, whatever. Her name is Noah, N-O-A, no H, okay? And of course you have her glucose meter, her pricker, her test strips. This goes in the pricker. All right, thank you, baby. Okay, so that's that. That's the end of story time. So about me, everything NBA, I sure do. Peter, I don't know how to make it clap. Hello, Leak. Yeah, I know it was crazy, Leak, but you know it's over, and I like my little story times. Now we're gonna get juicier and juicier. Okay, these is just like intro stories, but baby, I got some stories for that ass. But let's get into the body. So I've been fasting for about 36 hours. Excuse that, that's her Dexcom. Fasting for about 36 hours. So I'm about 187, My goal is to get to about 160, and I'm going to take y'all on the journey with me to get 160 and to get rid of these arms. Now, don't get me wrong. These bad boys done shrunk, okay? Because they was bigger than that. But, yeah, get into it. The body is tea. Well, you know, I'm trying to make it tea. Right now, it's like a little bit, kind of like coffee or something. I don't know. All right then, so you guys, that was the video. I'll be back tomorrow, maybe even later, because my daughter want to do a dance for y'all, and y'all better like it. Better clap. Okay, see you later.